Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and the craft slash, wait a minute, not in the craft slash dining room. I'm actually up in my office today because I needed to record some intros, but there are just too many people downstairs. So welcome to the craft office and another installment of new stencil die? New stencil, new die. Now what? The only evolving web series wherein a middle-aged crafter, hello, takes something crafty that I've never used and, well, I use them. But I am so excited to share the card that I created today because it uses a funky stencil that is designed to create this freeform watercolor edge, a simple die cut. Will it be a hot mess like I am right now? Oh my God, it's so hot. It's so hot in my office. Where's my fan? You're gonna have to stick around and find out. My new stencil, new dies, now what video coming up next. So here's a look at the new die and the new stencil that I'm going to be using today. Now this is pretty cool. It's called Watercolor Wash Freeform. Let's get this opened up. It's gonna give you this, this watery, rando shape, right, that you didn't really plan, and it's going to go on a card front. Now what I'm going to do, well, let's pick this up here. I've got a piece of Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock that I plan to use with this stencil. I'm not going to use the I don't know, is that the positive? Not going to use that, but you can, if you want, to create sort of an outline watery shape. Actually, wouldn't that be pretty with ink blending? And then I'm also going to be using this Happy Birthday die. It's just a classic. Let's get this open here. Happy birthday. You know, how many of you have seen the movie Elf? Every time I see a birthday greeting from any stamp company, I think of that scene when he's calling out the Santa as a fraud. And he says, well, what did you sing to me on my birthday? Or what did you sing to me on my birthday? And Santa goes, well, happy birthday, of course. And Will Ferrell's like, ah. Colors are, I want to make a very cool cool side of the rainbow blend. Got myself a big brush. I have 2 clean jars of water. And those are the basics. Oh, and my palette. I have my Art Impressions palette that I'm going to be, smushing ink on. So shall we get started with the background and see what happens? What I'm going to do today is use Pixie Spray on one side of the stencil. The main reason is because I'm trying to preserve that edge as much as I can. And I feel like if I put Pixie Spray on the other side of the stencil, right, if I spray that on, then it's going to adhere more strongly to the stencil. So I'm going to grab a box here that I keep off camera, my stencil in, give this a shake, and put a light coating of the Pixie Spray all over the back of the stencil. Now there's this little coating, and I haven't used my Pixie Spray in a while, so maybe it was coming out pretty strong. But all I'm going to do, and actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it this way, so the sticky side's up, and then I can just visually frame out the center like that, okay? And I am doing the nubby side up because I want that texture, and I'm going to lift this up. And now you can see. Now I do have a little bit of the sticky here, so you know what I might do? I'll just get my messy paint board here and pop that down. And I'm going to start smushing down my colors. So I've got my Twisted Citron. Oh, looks pretty good. Actually, I usually do extra. And we're going to work our way through in the blues. The Tumbled Glass, which is a very elegant pale color. Peacock Feathers, a little bolder, right? That's a little, well, that'll wake you up in the morning. A little bit of Mermaid Lagoon. Ooh, we're getting even bolder. And Wilted Violet. And if you don't have a palette, you can just use, honestly, like, you can use the packaging that comes in your, with any product and just put some white cardstock underneath it so you can see. That'll work too. So I've got my brush here, and let's see. I've got 1 jar for clean and 1 jar for dirty. I oftentimes forget though and mix them up, so I'll try not to do that today. And I'm also going to keep a paper towel just off to the side. And let's start with the color. And again, this is just literally the easiest. This is the easiest way to make a pretty fun background that I know of. And all I'm going to do here is just add this color. Just like that. Just kind of paint it in. And hopefully what will happen, it will mostly stay contained within the boundaries of that stencil. Okay, let's get some of this pale color. And I'm going to overlap because I don't mind, right? I don't mind if there's a transition there in the middle. Kind of potch it in. That's a very light one, so let's get this in. And of course, you know, the more water you add to your color, the lighter it will be. And that tumbled glass is so light, I don't even know if that's really going to show up. Might have to go back over that one. And also, don't be afraid to, you know, just dab up a little at the sides if you are pooling, because I don't know if I really want that strong edge. And it's running along, right? Kind of was starting to move a bit. Let's get, I've already messed up my water, but let's get in our next shade. See how much darker we get in here with this. Get a little more water. Just kind of, I'm going to actually tilt that because I don't want that to run. I don't want that to run backwards. I don't mind if it goes in that direction, but I don't want it to, where it's pooling, I don't want that. So don't be afraid to tilt. I've seen Christina Werner tilt her paper before, which is kind of cool. And actually that tumbled glass might not have even been the best call. But here, I'm also gonna, again, just kind of go on the edges. I don't dislike that. Actually, it might look kind of cool. So maybe I should leave it. Now let's pick up the last color, the Wilted Violet. And again, I'm gonna pick this up here like that, just so that I can come in from the bottom, making sure I get my purple in there nicely. And then I can just sort of do the little mix and match. You know, let it mix in there. Look at that pretty transition color. Isn't that nice? The nice thing about this too, messy rules. There's no, you know, there's no rule, even though I just said messy rules. And I'm going to add a little more green up here. But I'm going to go over where I did the tumbled glass because I don't think that color didn't work. And sometimes you don't know, right, until you get it in. But I'm just going to kind of, you know, get that a little greener. And then maybe too, come back here like this. Just kind of go back in. Just kind of go back and forth a little, like that. That just looks like an awesome blob of color, right? Ooh, I love it. A little awesome blob of color. And before I lift this all off, and I'm not going to lift it yet, I'm just going to go around the stencil here. Maybe just, I actually kind of like that pooling, although now I'm picking it up a little, right? A little in here too. That is so gorgeous in that little area. Now it's a little warpy, so I am going to let this dry completely before I peel it off. And I don't really want to hit it with heat because I don't want to damage my stencil at all. So let's walk away and let this dry. So while that's drying, I've got a piece of Neenah Solar White Classic Crest in the 110 pound. And I'm just going to break these apart, but then I think, you know what, I need to cut the nubbies off. So I'm going to come in here, get as close as I can and twist, because I hate poking myself on the pokies. So what I do is I get as close as I can, squeeze and twist. Now sometimes these little pieces go flying. So far none have landed in my coffee, but I know I have stepped on a few. You got to be careful. That's why sometimes I think the twist is better, because you have a little more control and you can put them in your trash. I do have, well, that slipped a little. I do have my Gemini that I also use. I kind of hit her, no, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. That's not true. They're both great. I just think it depends on what you have space for. Now I do have space for both because I have one of them on a shelf, and this one I also store. Oftentimes I'll just fold it back up, but let's see how that cut. Oh, that is all one piece. You know, sometimes, oh, it cut beautifully, but again, all hail that tittle. You know what? I wish I had a block here. Let's see. The little dots over the eyes, which are, you know, they're called the tittle. You don't want to lose them unless you're planning to, you know, do something wild like use a sequin or an enamel dot for your eye. But I always try to maintain the tittle We're going to go like that, and we're going to set that in here because let's be real. There's no way I'm going to save that. Actually, I'm probably still going to lose it. Now it's stuck to my finger. Come on. Oh gosh, it's going everywhere. I like to do my poking on the foam. You know, sometimes when a die cut is this delicate, I think they're hard to stack, you know, so maybe I don't need to. I'm going to go cut that out. Look at the fineness, right? Do you see there's a little bit of feathering there? Not feathering, but I have die hairs there. I'm going to go give this a run through from the Gemini, and I'm going to compare the two on camera. So I cut this one from the Gemini. It popped out easier, but it's, well, is it a better cut? Sometimes I feel like Gemini, Spellbinders. I think the Gemini cut is cleaner. When I have a really detailed cut because of my wrist and pressure issues, I think I do like to go with the Gemini. But the question is now, do I cut out, let's see here, there's a shadow layer. Huh, what if we did Vellum? I have a little piece of Vellum here. I don't know what this will look like. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna do it this way. I might wanna do something a little bolder. Just kind of playing. New stamps, new die. Wait, no, new die, new stencil. Now what? I get confused, you know? So that, I wonder if that's supposed to be joined there. I bet it is. You're gonna figure out, wait, oh. I was like, that doesn't fit. You're gonna have to figure out how that all goes together. I don't know if I can do it on Vellum. That might be a little advanced for me. So I'm going to set this aside and let's check on the drying of our watercolored piece. So I think it's time. It's kind of released itself because of the moisture. Oh, so let's peel that off. Ooh, that's so cool. I love that. Isn't that neat? Okay, the thing about the pixie spray is it can stay on for a little bit. And if you have any left on your paper, you can just take an adhesive eraser and it will come off, right? It rubs off. It's not a problem. Just any little, and your finger will work too. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't even have to, it doesn't have to be an adhesive eraser, but I'm just gonna kind of go around where maybe I feel a little stickiness. That's cool. That's a fun shape. I mean, that is a really pretty look, right? Or do we want to put it on a color? Now see, this is where I get unsure of myself. So first things first, I'm going to hit this with the heat tool now that it's unstenciled, just to kind of hasten the drying a little because it's bubbled up a bit. You see that water lift right out, right? We're just going to go on the other side and flatten like that. Well, should I try the run it through a laminator trick? Many people have told me to do this, and I have never done this. You know what? What the heck? There's always time to try a new technique. Let me grab my mini Minc, and I'm going to see if it works. I'm going to have to let it heat up, and then I'm going to test out that theory. This is very exciting because I've never tried this, but here's a little carrier sheet that I made. It has a piece of cardstock. It has a piece of parchment paper, right? It's just folded. Oh my goodness, my Minc is dusty. Let's wipe that off. That's terrible. Okay, and I think this is enough room, right? I just want to make sure that this is clean. I'm going to take this piece here, press it in here, right? I think that's it. And I'm going to feed it through and let's see what happens. I like to use a book to flatten things, but I've never tried this. And if it works, and again, many of my YouTube people, many of you have said, Cathy, try this. Try running it through your laminator. Of course, you can use a laminator as well, all right? I don't know how straight this will be. I'm going to show you exactly how it looks when it comes out. And then if I need to do it again, well, we'll do it again. So let's open it up. Holy buckets, Charlie. Look at that. Now, it's much straighter than it was, and that's what's so crazy. Let's try it one more time. And let's flip it, because then maybe it's a whole different... Let's try it again. I'm trying to decide, am I seeing smoke? No, I'm not seeing smoke. Here, you could admire my manicure while it goes through. Now let's take a look. Oh, it's very hot. Hot to trot. Okay, let's see. You know, I mean, I don't know. I feel like now, for example, if I stick it in one of the books that I like to stick it in, now that it's hot, it will be very flat for later. So let's just do that. I don't know if it really, I mean, I think it took the moisture out, but other than that, yeah. I guess I'll give it a thumbs kind of up because it definitely dried out the paper. I am going to resume here, but the next thing I want to do, I want to take some purple tape and just de-hair my die. Now you all know there's no hair on the die, right? You have to be careful though when you're doing this because you don't want to bend your dies. So just gently go like that and just get what I like to call the die hairs. This is one of my favorite tips, and I think it's magical. And you think, what are you doing? What's really happening? Oh, Biore pore strips, anyone? Huh? Isn't that crazy? So the more you do, the more that will come off. I think I'll put that on my nose next. Just want to show you what I'm using here. I'm going to shake this up. You can hear that sound and just do a light coat. But here we go. We're going to start here. Well, shoot. See, this is where I'm not sure if I got that into place first, and then I got that into place there, right? Oh, I guess that's the ticket. Look at that. Get those into place first, then, right, then push this over a little like that. Hey, I did a good job here. Where's my brick? Well, I don't, so I'm just going to do this. Pressing it down. Look at that. You didn't know you could use the inside for that, but that's what we're doing. And now I actually got that on there quite well. All right, I think that's a little more flat, and here's what I'm going to do anyway. I am going to take one of my favorite dies, my Waffle Flower Crafts, and I am going to trim this down. Well, let's see. Will I go into the third one? I don't want to cut away any of the watercolor. No, I think I have to go up one more. So this card is going to have a very narrow margin. My plates are looking, well, my bottom plate is looking a little wonky. I just want to secure that like that. Run this through. Yeah, that looks good. And this will give me just a tiny margin to work with for my card base. Now, if you ever run something through, again, grab and something sticks, I'm telling you, man, these adhesive erasers, they're wonderful because sometimes if your plate's dirty, something might get impressed into your paper. Adhesive eraser, a magical tool. All right, let's proceed. So let's create the card base here. We're going to score this at 4 1/4. So when this folds down, it will be a wonderful US A2, well, let's get this out of the way. US A2 landscape, right? Or, you know, portrait. I don't know where my other bone folder is. That's going to be just fine. Another thing that's going to help, obviously, and don't worry, you're probably wondering, Cathy, what'd you do with the tittle? Oh, it's there. I'm going to pop this up on the card base. The foam tape helps flatten it. The thing is that I put a lot of water on this, right? And if you put a lot of water on, you're going to have warped paper. But I love this Tim Holtz cardstock because look how bright white it is. It's not like your traditional watercolor paper, which is off color, and that usually signifies, you know, great quality. But what I want, let's see, do I want to go this way? Yeah. I wanted to have just a little margin and that nice white. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And press. So now that is nicely popped onto my card base. It's kind of hard to see with how bright it is in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop happy birthday right onto the card. And how I'm going to do this, oh, actually, tittle time. It's tittle time. Let's get my glue. Let's make sure it's running. Running with the devil. Okay, sorry. I'm from a different time, friends. Put a little dabble, do ya? Pick up the tittle gonna pop it right there. Oh, it worked like a, well, almost worked like a charm. Let's see. There we go. Now we have the tittle. So I am going to use my Barely Art glue. And again, this is new for me. I'm trying what many people have said, which is put the pin in it to store it. Although I am going to be ordering myself a little rubber stopper too. But what I thought I would do, because I have control here, and actually I want to do this more on the black so I can see. This way I can put little tiny dots all in strategic areas where you won't see through the vellum. See that? I think this will be enough to hold it in place, right? Just kind of focus on your edges and your last little letters. And I think that's fine. So I'll show you, like that. I think that's enough. And I'm gonna go at an angle because I think the angle's kind of fun, right? It's got a little energy. So let's just drop it down. Happy birthday. And then I'm going to just use this again because I don't, oh, I think I got some glue on that. Because I don't have my acrylic block. I'm gonna go grab one. All right, pressing that down. And that looks really good, right? That is so subtle and so simple. Should we add a little shine? Should we boop it up? I think we're gonna do 3 sets of 2. So we're still sort of getting that, the odd number. So let's try it. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I've got so much mucky muck on here. No wonder I've got glue on my tip. How do I get that off? Maybe go like that with adhesive eraser. Oh, look at that. Another use for it. Come on. That's great. I have just discovered things today. Okay, we're gonna, oh, I guess we're going there. I guess when you go out there, boop. That's what you're gonna do. Come here. I still think it's funny that someone left a comment and said, I don't understand why you say poop every time you put one down. That would be a whole different thing. Boop. Oh, these are going down like gangbusters. Remind me to do that every now and then. It just sort of, cleaned it up. Let's let you see. Oh. Okay. Boop. Amazing. Look at that. Oh, classic. So, well, see, I try not to go right to the center because that is when I know. And actually, what you could do? You could just say, like Gina K does. Gina K is so smart. She'll put her glue down and then she'll just let it sit, right? I'm just gonna wipe that off. Stick the pin back in. Give it a little pop down. I don't know. Is that how we do? Okay. And then once the glue gets a little tackier, you pick it up. Oh, now it doesn't want to stick at all and go boop. Look at that. And again, for those of you who wonder what tool this is, it's the Crystal Katana. And I've tried a lot of different tools and I feel like this one has been my favorite because I have a few other ones. I have a Marvi Yukaida jewel picker and I've never been able to make it work for me, but this one mostly works like butter. Okay, look at that. And that is the finished card. That's a funky little shape. And of course I did, watercolor just to create that sort of watercolor look, but you could ink blend with this. You could use paste with this. I just think the whole thing is pretty amazing. So all of the supplies can be found linked below the video, and I will see you back here with another card project soon. Thanks so much for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the gray bell below the video so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a couple other videos that you might be interested in watching. Thanks so much and have a great day.